Um, what a wonderful day. It is still your brother, Mazi Chukwanyan, and you are hearing this message from Obiwo TV. It is sponsored by Obimua Igbo and powered by Obindo. My name is Mazi Chukwanyan, and I've come once again to inform us about the year that we are about to enter. It's a wonderful thing for us to know about our season and time, and I will not be taking more of your time. First of all, I would like you to observe some physical things, because from the known you get to the unknown. If you look around you, it does not matter where you are in the world today. You will see there are so many things that shows you that there is a shift. There is a shift in nature. There is a shift also in the climate. There is a shift in time. And that is one of the reasons why we waited to all this while to inform you, because many of you have not been observant enough to know that between the ending of February and the beginning of March, that is somewhere in between February, that according to the Roman calendar, there is always a shift. And why it's so is because it is actually the end of a year, and that is when a new year begins, because the year is all about the movement of the earth and the sun. And it also have a spiritual anchor. And if you don't understand the spiritual part of it, you can also observe it physically. That is why we are drawing your attention to what is happening now. So wherever you are in the world, you will know that it's a shift. It didn't happen in your so-called December, and it will never happen, because December have nothing to do with that movement. The earth moves, yes, around December, but then, you know, everything has its own peak and its own climax, and December is not one of them. So it is far-fetched. The reason why I'm coming to you today is for me to remind most of you who has been asking me questions, how are we sure that this is the end of the year? Why is it that the Igbos have a different calendar than the Roman calendar? We have a different calendar than the Roman calendar because our calendar is more original, it's more authentic, it's more ancient than the Roman calendar. The Romans copied their calendar, their counting system from the Greeks, and the Greeks copied from the Egyptians. And the Egyptians are we are the ones that set the pace in Egypt. So whatever that you find in the walls of Egypt are things that came from us, people who live in the sub-Sahara. And if you go through the sub-Sahara, you will see that even if you go through the history of Africans, you will see that the only people, or the very few people that still have their own calendar, their own complete date. When I mean date, I mean days and things like that. It's not somebody converting Monday to his or her own language. It makes no sense, because there is no 7 days in counting. These things are created by the Romans. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people that have their own original days. They have their own original number. They have their own original months. They have their own original the months and the years. They have their own counting. They are not more than 4. That still maintain that. Initially, the whole Africans had a counting system before we were polluted by the West. But what I'm trying to say, that those that still maintain that ancient landmarks when it comes to calendar, when it comes to dates, when it comes to months, they are not more than 4. You understand? So, but each time you talk about, people will refer you to the Ethiopians. The Ethiopian system and the Egyptian system has been contaminated, polluted by the very people, by the West, so that it will run with what the West is trying to dish out. Now, the question you ask yourself is this: who is bringing the food to the table? Who is bringing the food to the table? Most things that are genuine, most things that are real, are not popular. Get it into your head. Most good things are not popular. The very popular ones are the ones that has received a lot of publicity and propaganda. Yeah, they are popular and it is widely accepted, or the ones that was forced on people. Just like as we know that Christianity was forced on people, and Islam was also forced on people, and still to date is being forced on people. It's just like, at times when you speak about it, somebody will tell you, say, how do you mean that that people were not forced to believe in Christianity? Now let me tell you, let me give you an instance. We are in this modern world, but remember that certain American governments have given certain African nations, or let me say the whole of African nation, a mandate to accept gay marriage, or they will not help. Is that not force? Or they will not assist them, or they will attack them. So people are conditioning you to accept certain things under pressure. That is force. If this generation now, who are leaders in Africa, finally, all of them endorses gay marriage, and then after about 50 years, if you start telling the youths then that we are never part of this gay marriage movement, or this gay thing, that we rejected it and it was forced on us, they will start arguing. And that is the way many of us are arguing about Christianity today. Because none of us were around when it was forced on our ancestors, not just on our fathers, but on our ancestors. We know that a lot of men were killed. We know that a lot of people were destroyed. A lot of kings even were killed. So many spiritual people were killed. So many high priests, African traditional spiritualists were killed just to score that point. And at the end of the day, those who were afraid of dying, those who wanted to spare their life, have to admit and accept whatever that is dished out for them at the table. And that is the way we embraced everything that we embraced. Now, if you go back to the history of calendar, because why I'm saying this is that this calendar system, this 7 days in counting, has never and will never be part of us. You understand? There is nothing that tells you or that proves to you that the week is supposed to be 7 days. Somebody just created it at all of it, a sudden. And then he created the only time you see 7 as a significant number. And that is why they had to put it in so many of their religious connotes, as if 7, there is something special about 7. The truth of the matter is that 7 is a number, but it's not a divine number. There is nothing fantastic about 7. You understand? So when you talk about numbers that are fantastic, you talk about 4, you talk about 3. You understand? You talk about 2. But then when you look at things the way they are, you see that through religion a lot of numbers has been created, and then we tend to fall for these numbers. We tend to attach importance to these numbers because we were told that the numbers are special. These numbers are divine, just like 7. There is nothing divine about 7. There is nothing divine about 7. Somebody created it and put that thing. Because why? Because when you look at the environment, especially the Western environment, you see that it is an environment that is not strongly rooted in history, and they are trying to create their own. They are trying to manufacture their own history. So they are trying to make sure that everything that is needed to make history, that they themselves have created their own from the scratch. They have an original that belongs to them, that reflects who they are. And that is why this calendar was forced on you. Now tell me, somebody was saying, I entered into a place yesterday and they were asking me, what do you call August in Igbo? Of course, I told them, we don't have anything like August. We have nothing to do with August. What has Augustus Caesar got to do with us Igbos? Nothing. We have nothing to do with August. August has no meaning in Igbo. It has no absolute meaning in Igbo. It doesn't relate with us. So August, the same thing. August have no meaning in Africa. What about July? July has no meaning in Africa. April does not have any meaning in Africa. March does not have any meaning in Africa. January has no meaning in Africa. These things has nothing to do with us. So how can we say it is our own counting when it does not mean a dime? It does not mean nothing in our life. It has no meaning in our life. No matter how you try to translate it, it makes nothing to you. It's just like when you say, what is the meaning of Ihani in English? An Englishman has nothing to do with my name. My name is pure an Igbo name. So it has no meaning in English language. Except I translate it. But translation does not mean accuracy. Translation is you are trying to present something that you assume that it represents that in that particular language, and which is not so. So what am I saying? What I'm trying to say is that we are about to enter into our own year. So I'm here to wish you happy New Year in advance. Happy African New Year in advance. Happy African New Year in advance. It has nothing to do with the Western New Year. Happy African New Year, those that will celebrate with us, those that really are sons of the soil, those who are children of the sun, those who are Africans indeed and in spirit. We are celebrating and we are entering our new year on the 5th of February. And we are going to be celebrating the new year from that 5th till the 16th of February, which is 12 days in counting. We are going to say, because the first day of the year for us is the 5th of February, and then when you count it to the 12th day, which is the 16th of February. So we are going to be celebrating the new year in a grand style. So wherever you are, whatever you are doing, it doesn't matter any part of the world you are. If you are a brother, if you are a sister, this is our time to celebrate our own new year. This is our time to celebrate our own. This is our time to be sure of what we are doing. It's not something that was handed over to us by those that never liked us, but something that actually belongs to us, something that our ancestors did, something that our ancestors upholded. You understand? So, many of us are confused by the rhythm or the timing that we meet in Egypt. Most of those things we are contaminated. And that is why I keep telling our brothers who are talking about the months. The months, who are the months? It's still us. It is still us. You understand? The whole story comes down and boils down to us. But mind you, these things are things that happened over the years. Over the years. We are not talking about 30,000 years. We are not talking about 50,000 years. We are talking about things that have happened hundreds of years. And then hundreds of thousands of years, sorry. And then each time, because it depends on where you are coming from, it depends on the history, the part of the history that you have, the one that you are trying to showcase. Each one each event happened at a particular era. And if we do not understand the era, we will misunderstand the whole point. We will misplace the whole history. But it is all about us. I have nothing against the Roman calendar, but like I said, it is not for me. It is not for you if you're an African. We have our own calendar. Let us uphold our own. Let them uphold their own. We are not saying that they should throw away their own. Their own is their own. But we have to uphold our own. You understand? We as Africans should be grateful that there are nations or empires like the Igbo Empire that still have their own calendar intact and complete. Let us celebrate it. Let us celebrate it. Let us celebrate it, because it's better than, I don't know, for us to come together, we must have a voice. Just like the West. The West have a voice, and the voice is English language. So, but that does not mean that they are not, English people are not the strongest, and they're not the people that really, is not the original or the root of Western world, but they made a choice. And we have to make a choice when it comes to things like this. So, since and presently, the only complete and available or visible calendar for now is the Igbo calendar. I am encouraging all Africans to join hand and let us celebrate this. Let us celebrate. Let us celebrate this year. Let us embrace this calendar. Let us use it as our own. It is ours. It is ours. Because if you investigate it deep, you will see that somehow all of their content has, in one word or other, just the same way we have the same spiritual lifestyle. I believe that the counting system, in one word or other, it doesn't matter the language you are using, is the same. It's the same. So the difference may not be much. It cannot be much. Just like as we have a complete, totally different thing from the Roman calendar and the Igbo calendar. The Romans count 7 days, we count 4 days. The Romans count 4 weeks, we count 7 weeks. And their days, varies from 35 times to 28 or 29 days. But ours is complete, is every month is 28 days. Every month is 28 days. And they have 12 months, we have 13 months. So if you look at it, there's a lot of differences between the Roman calendar and the Igbo calendar. But I believe that no matter what, that I believe that if other African empires had calendar, it would have been the same thing. It would have been almost the same thing. And we really want us as a people to have a voice. And if we must have a voice, then we should begin to learn to do things together. So I'm encouraging all of us. It does not matter where you are, whether you are in diaspora, whether you are in the mother continent Africa, anywhere you are, the 5th of February is when our celebration begins. And remember, we don't celebrate a day. Africans will celebrate days, not a day. So I'm expecting that all of us will be in that celebration spirit. And then from the 5th of this day, February, till the 12th, to the 16th of February, which is the 12th day of the new year. And the year kicks off on the 5th. So it starts by the evening. By the evening of 5th, that is when the celebrations will start. And then it takes us all and on and on and on. Be in the spirit. Wish your brother, wish your sister, wish family happy New Year, happy African New Year. Wish your friends happy African New Year. Even if they are not Africans. After all, when they do their own year, they wish us happy New Year. So let us wish them New Year. Let us make our own celebration popular. Let us make it popular. Let us make it popular. Let it be a day. Let it be a season to really rejoice and remember. So once again, this is your man, your brother, Mazi Chukwanyamu, saying to you, happy and a prosperous New Year in advance, according to our own calendar, the African calendar. I hope and I wish that most of us will take this season, because we are still in the Onwozo Aroshi, Onwozo Arokushi. That is the month that you purge yourself of every evil, every bad character, every bad influence. So we are still in that month, preparing ourselves for the new year, and that is why this month is very significant. So I hope and pray and wish that most of us will use this particular period and time and season to really do what we have to do as a people, and put ourselves in the place that we need to be. Once again, I thank you for listening, and I pray that you will really understand the language I'm saying, or the language I'm speaking, or what I'm saying, or understand where I'm going to, and then be part of this celebration, because whatever you honor is what blesses you. If you celebrate the new year will bless you. If you celebrate this season will prepare you for greatness. We know that things are going to happen, great and mighty things, in our lives and in the life of those around us, but we need to propel it. We need to give it a push. We need also to position ourselves very well. And celebrating the new year, celebrating this year, rejoicing, understanding this year will help you do that. Once again, you are hearing my voice from Obibo TV. I am still your brother. I'm still your friend. I'm still a member of the family. This is me. I have not changed. Mazi Chukwanyamu. So from Obibo TV, I said to you, happy and what a wonderful and marvelous new year. Have a prosperous year ahead. Have a wonderful one in advance. This is Obibo TV. We are wishing you the best of the best in this wonderful year. This is a marvelous year, and it's going to be great for all of us. Thanks for tuning in.